And he started saying these stories are very, very important. You can even like read them in shul, and like instead of giving a speech. It was very interesting take on things. And soon we'll look at one of the stories inside. But I just want to first see that he gave a Torah to the students about before he started telling the stories, and in this Torah it explains like what he's doing, and they try to figure out how that applies to us. When we're trying to teach or trying to talk to each other. I think one of the things we feel is that a lot of times people are saying things and they sound like cliches. People give a speech in Shara Brachas or in Shul, you're just saying a whole bunch of words, and it's like, what do you just say? And the challenge is for us to learn something new and say something new. And it's really that's the only way we can inspire ourselves, inspire others. So, anyways, I just want to see a little bit what he has, what he says over here about this. Okay, if you want, you can look inside over here. I'll be jumping around a little bit, but around here. You want you all on? There's another one. It's okay. I'll find it. Anyway, I mean, you ever see your Nachman inside? You ever looked at Kutamar? A little bit. In any case, it's the way he writes and teaches us in a very unusual way. That sort of like a house of many rooms. You go in, he talks about one thing, and he says, okay, and that's connected to another thing, and you go to another room. Hey, and eventually he builds this whole building, and somehow all these little topics are related together, but they're also sort of a topic in itself. So I'm doing a whole topic about many different things. In there he starts talking about how you need to help people talk to each other. It's one of the big things we need to do to fix the world is to help people learn how to talk to each other in a real way. And the problem is that sometimes people are sleeping. People walk around the world sleeping, and therefore everything they say is sort of not very meaningful. Just like they're saying things out of rote, and then nothing is happening. So he's saying, so how do you wake people up? How do you wake people up from their sleep that they're walking around? He says, "Kishirotzim leharot lo panav." You see what it says that? He says, when you want to wake people up, so you tell them stories. Okay? So he says, why is this? Why do you tell people stories in order to wake them up? Why don't you just tell them a strong message? Right? Why don't you say, listen, your life is, you're not doing anything in your life, get yourself together, whatever it is, give them sort of strong message. Why don't you just say straightforward? He said there's a couple of reasons. But one of the reasons is because if I'm sleeping, then explicit, in-the-face message is not going to help me. It's like I'm too far away. I'm like busy. I'm like surviving life, and you're coming to me with this like new idea. Like your life is supposed to be amazing. It's too far away. It's different. But stories have this way of getting into us. And sort of like sneaking in to the back door. Okay, I'm not going to explain what this means. Just the interesting terminology that he says. He says different types of stories also. There's a story, a regular story, and in a story which you call the story of ancient times, something which is like a much higher type of a story. And he says some people are so asleep that the only story that will wake them up is a story of ancient times. Okay, so you got to think about what he means. Presumably he means a story which touches something very basic. You know, so I read the newspaper. It's not a story of ancient times. It's just like, oh, this party is winning that party. Okay, it's not very. It's not going to shake me up. If I say, you know, in ancient times before any of this began, there was this king and a queen. There's something about that which tends to touch deeper. In any case, I don't want to talk too much about it. I just want we will read a little bit from the story. The first story of Nachman teaches is about the daughter of the king. That's the first story he taught, and then we'll see how you think about it, how you interpret it. Okay. Okay. So it goes like this. He said the one time was a king who had 6 sons and 1 daughter, and he really loved his daughter very much. And he would meet with her every day and talk to her and play with her. And then one day he got angry at her. And as he was angry with her, he said, "The no good should take you, or the not good one should take you." Some sort of a curse or something. And then that night she went to sleep in her room, and in the morning they woke up and she wasn't there. Okay. And everyone was so upset and I was crying and they didn't know what to do. And this man called Mishneh Melech, okay, Mishneh Melech is like a viceroy or something, second in command. And he said, "Okay, I'm gonna take this on myself." And he says to the king, "Please give me money and someone, an attendant to help me, and I'll go out to the world and try to find her." Okay, so he goes out to the world. He's looking for years and years, long time. Goes in fields, deserts, doesn't find her. One day he goes to this desert, and he sees there's a path leading away from the desert. He said, "Okay, maybe it'll get me back to civilization." He goes in there, and all of a sudden he sees this fortress, many soldiers guarding it. And he was like very afraid, like what people were willing to do to me. But then no one notices him. He walks past the guards. He walks in the gate, walks up the steps, and as he's going through the rooms, he comes to this great hall, and he sees there's a king there, and all types of court people, and food and the whole party, and he doesn't know what to do. He just sits in the corner, and then the king says, "Okay, let's bring the queen. Tell the queen to come." So they bring the queen, make a whole big taharam, and this guy is sitting in the corner looking at her, and he sees that it's the queen is the daughter that disappeared. Okay, so then she looks at him. She sees him in the corner. And she gets up and she touches him and she says, "Do you know who I am?" And she said, "Yes, I know who you are." And he says, "How do you get here?" So he said, "When my father said that the not good one should take you, so I went to the not good place. This is the not good place." And so he tells her how your father's missing you so much and really wants to get you back. And he says, "How can I get you out of here?" And he says, "Okay, you can't get me out of here yet. What you need to do is wait a year, and during that whole year, you should be like hoping to get me out, like just inside, just like waiting to get me out, and then comes the last. He says, and last day of the year. Very important that you should fast on that day. Don't eat anything that day, and you'll be able to get me out." Okay, so he's waiting all year, and he's fasting, and then and then he also sees this tree with really beautiful fruits, and he can't control himself, and he eats, and he falls asleep for a very very long time. Okay, then then he had a guy with him, like an attendant. He's trying to shake him and like wake him up. So go get the princess. He can't. Nothing happened. Then he wakes up like after a very long time. And he says like, "Where am I? What happened?" And the guy tells him what happened. That you ate the fruit and you fell asleep. You couldn't do it. And he says, "I've been waiting for you a couple of years for you to wake up. In the meantime, I've been eating the fruits of the tree." And then he was really, really upset. And he goes back to the palace and goes to see the princess again. He says, "Oh, it's really terrible. You just messed up at the last moment." So he says, to do the same thing again. Wait a year. Waiting for me, and just the main thing is, don't drink wine on the last day. Okay. Don't drink wine on the last day because wine puts you to sleep. You'll be awake then, and then you'll get me out. It comes to the end of the year, and he's making sure not to drink wine. And then he's walking up and he sees this river, and the river is strange because it's red, and it smells like wine. And he said, "That's strange. You ever see a river that's made of wine?" He says, "Oh, it's strange. Well, let's have a drink." And he drinks that, and then falls asleep, and what's it called again? And then he falls asleep, and he's sleeping for 70 years. He says, 70 years of sleeping, and then as he's sleeping, a parade of soldiers pass by him. And this attendant who was there, he hid because he saw soldiers coming, and then it was these soldiers, with the princess, and then she stops the carriage. She gets off. She sees this guy sleeping, and she's trying to wake him up, trying to shaking him. Doesn't wake up, and she's just talking to him. How terrible this is for both of us, for me and for you. We both tried so hard, and it didn't work out. And then, and she was crying a whole bunch, and she was crying, and she took out her handkerchief, and she started crying on the handkerchief, and she uses the tears to write a note to him, and he says, and then the guy wakes up after she leaves, and he says she left her handkerchief. So he takes the handkerchief, he looks at it in the sun, and he realizes there's letters there. And on the letter it says she's telling him that she left this fortress, and she should go to a place with there's a mountain of gold and a fortress made of diamonds, and she'll be over there. Okay, so he left the attendant and said, "Okay, you stay here. I'm gonna go look for this place." Okay, I don't want to take too long. Basically, he goes to the desert, and then he finds these giants. The one giant says, "I never heard of that place. Maybe a brother knows." He tells his other brother giant, and that giant says, "I'll go ask all the animals. The animals don't know." And then there's this third giant, and they ask him, and he says, "Oh, I'll ask the birds and the wind." And basically, finally, there's one little wind that comes in the end after everybody, and he knows where this is. And then he goes to this giant gives him a special magical pouch that fills with coins, so you have money to get to this place. He goes to the place, and then basically the story ends in the middle of the story. It's interesting. He says. He goes to this place, and he sees guards around this city. He found this mountain of gold and everything, and he says he's going to have to figure out a way, some sort of clever way of getting in. And then Nachman ends the story. He says, "In the end, he got her out." That's how the story. That's how the story ends. The story doesn't even go to the end. He says, "In the end, he got her out," and that's the end of the story. Anyway, that's the story. The question. So this is Nachman's first story that he told. This after he decided he's starting to tell stories instead of just teachings. So we got to think a little bit about what's the story about, and what's he trying to do with the story. I'm open to any suggestions you have.
I have no idea whatsoever. Sounds like a convoluted story to me.
Yeah, definitely it's convoluted.
However, I only heard the last bit in terms of the river that was wine and stuff for 7 years. Like, however invested we are in the personal mission, the amount of time is, and those, I think those like basic criteria of how things are going to go down is decreed by God, and the route that we want to take is our choice. That the footsteps that we're going to take is God's choice. So we choose the route, and the footsteps are led by God.
So how do you see it? How do you see that in the story?
Because he had to sleep for 7 years. Meaning, like, at the end of the day, like, it was going to take 7 years for him to get there. But if it would have been like 7 years of like struggle and him feeling like he was going in circles, and it's been a year, it's been 2, it's been 3, he could have kind of just given up inside.
Yeah. I mean, I think what we might be saying is that when we see this in a framework of a story, it sort of it helps us relax. Meaning, let's say we have to wait 70 years for something. Okay, that's terrible. That's a really horrible feeling. But if we're reading a story about someone who had to wait 70 years, he's sleeping for 7 years, and that's part of the story. I think that's what you're getting at. I mean, once it becomes part of the story, it's given a context. Meaning, the things we have to wait for, the terrible struggles we have, all of a sudden is not just this moment in time. It's the progression of the story, and I think that's what you're trying to say. It's sort of like that. It allows us to say, okay, this had to happen because that was my story, and
and let go of despair.
Yeah.
Like there's hope within whatever we're going through, however long it takes.
Yeah.
It's kind of like we're just actors. But that is actually a core of the movie. We're all actors on stage.
Yeah.
Well, the world's a stage. All people are actors.
Change everything. All the times, and all these examples of failure are exactly what the Bible has, right? The Shivan, 70 years of blah blah.
Right. So there's a lot of exactly. You notice that there are hints over there. I mean, the story is set in a way where in the details of the story itself, you can see he's hinting to historical things. The 7 years of when they fell asleep in exile, and the fruit was, Adam Rishon eating the fruit. So he's mixing. It's like taking one story and mixing it into another story.
Or a person's life, say 70 years by straight dating.
Yeah.
So it could be like a lifetime person.
Yeah.
It's a relationship between God and Father. So.
Yeah. That one.
We have to take advantage of a relationship. If we don't treat it correctly, then we lose it. And
that's the beginning where
it's hard to get it back. And there's trials and tribulations along the way trying to get it back. And even when we realize that we need to get it back, and we know what we need to do, we don't do it necessarily.
Yeah. Right. And therefore what?
Yes. It's a long journey.
Yeah. So I think you're saying also it's like helps us take a long breath. Each way we have things we could keep on failing on. It's like, okay, the story also takes a while. Like for us, it's like, come on, like, what, are you crazy? Like, but while we're inside of our own struggles, it doesn't feel that way.
I don't think I would have gotten that part. What you said is that even though he messed up a lot of times.
Yeah.
And a lot of years passed, but somewhere inside of him, he kept the mission.
Right, kept him going, right.
Even though he kept
very frustrating,
distracted and everything, but there was part of him that kept the mission going.
Yeah.
Even through it all.
Right.
Here we are.
Yeah.
As a people, here we are. Yeah. We're still going. Right. Somehow, some way, we're still around 13 million people.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah. It's interesting also is that the way he chooses to tell a story, that the conclusion is not even important.
It's so important.
Yeah, obviously it's important, but he's not even wasting time to say
It's almost obvious.
it's gonna work out. For sure, it's gonna work out.
Right.
But what's interesting is how you got there. It's
Right,
not.
the point that for sure it's gonna work out.
Yeah.
It's like, I love that.
Right,
And I
right.
think that that's what we're promised, that as a people, inevitably, it's gonna work out. God does not take away the concept of redemption based on our behavior.
Yeah.
It's promised no matter what, and our behavior does determine.
Yeah.
the
But you have to point out in this particular story, there's no she helps him out, but she can't actually help him out. She sends him a message where she's going to do. She can't actually do it for him.
Right.
And at the end of the day, at least from the point of view of this story, is at the end of it, he's going to have to do it. It'll take a long time, but he's going to have to do it. You keep on feeling, and you'll do it eventually.
Really, earn it though too.
Well,
She's saying also that you're gonna have to earn this.
yeah.
It's not gonna. I'm not handing it to you on a silver
Right.
platter.
That's also
She can't.
that's a big theme. It's very interesting. In the beginning of the story, what's the story? He walks into where she is. He walks straight up there, and he still can't take her out. That's a very meaning. That's pointing to a lot of times. Our whole problems, we think our problems are external. I'm fighting with somebody. I keep fighting with them. I can't get along with them. And I only can fix it when I realize, wow, I have something to fix. And then that's the beginning of fixing. It's like that's the same thing over here. She's telling him, you want to get me out, you have to go for a year and wait for me. That's obviously putting the ball in his court means to say, it's now you gotta work on yourself. When you work on yourself, things will work out.
Waiting is internal.
Waiting.
It doesn't even look active
Right.
necessarily, waiting, but it's very active.
Right. That's another thing which actually,
It's
yeah,
quiet,
yeah.
It's active.
Waiting. That's the thing of waiting.
It's so hard.
Yeah.
And it's painful also to it's like just surrendering to the fact that the only thing I can do right now is wait.
Well, it depends what you do with it.
Yeah.
Well, with waiting,
It's some,
You can't just wait. You have to function.
you have to function. The waiting is also it's a very big.
Yeah, there's a.
Wait something.
Yeah. You've been doctor's office. You just gotta wait.
What do you do while you're waiting?
Said anything.
Yeah.
Read a magazine or anything like that. Yeah.
I mean, how the waiting is active, but it could become very negative experience.
Right. Exactly. It's your choice about how.
You
Yeah,
you choose how that wait is going to be. is what I'm saying.
I think he got stuck with
Yes.
Just this relates to something Nachman teaches someplace else about this whole thing of waiting and yearning. He gives it a lot of value. The thing of yearning in itself. Is that sometimes people. So sometimes people want to change, but they're not really ready for it. But what they could do is say, I really would like to grow in that way. And so to most of us, it seems like that's not a very significant act, but he says it is. He calls it gaguim and ratzon. That itself is creating something in yourself. And like you were saying, is that the act of waiting can be a positive experience when you are, building that inside of you, the desire.
What's the word he uses for it?
Not really waiting. It's gaguim.
Is it yearning?
Yearning. Yearning. The act of yearning. But
Like
waiting for Mashiach or waiting for me to be a better person. That's also a type of waiting. Yearning for that. And so you sort of create something, put something into motion, and eventually you get there. It's very interesting. I mean, if you, I see with myself, like certain things I wanted to do. Like 10 years ago, I said I want to do this, and I didn't do anything about it. But then it stays in me, and then eventually I do it. But I had to do with the fact that at one point I said I want to do that.
When it happens, it's the time for it to happen. Actually.
Yeah, but you started something. You started the process, and again, so it seems to be a theme of this whole story. The thing of patience, and and knowing that things are a process.
The more we fail, the challenges get bigger.
Yeah,
Right?
that's also
1
true.
year, 7
Right,
years, and then you got
Right, things keep on getting worse. Yeah.
Right, then it's soldiers, it's
Send
harder
it
and harder to get her.
Eventually, the thing just walks right in.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Good point.
Did you start by talking about waking up?
Yeah, that's what Rabbi Nachman was talking about. Before he tells the story, he says you tell stories to wake people up.
Because I was wondering how this fit into that.
No, this was really that was surrounding the story, which is interesting because the story itself talks about falling asleep and waking up.
That's right.
Right, it keeps on coming back.
Yeah, why did we say stories?
But that's,
Did we say what?
he was saying is that people need to be woken up. People
Why?
live.
What's special about a story? You said
Oh,
that it
yeah.
comes through the back.
Oh, so
Why?
okay. So there's definitely a lot of answers to that. One is that when we're told something, I tell you, you should do this. So, but you tell me I don't want to, or you tell yourself I don't want to, and that's it. That's the end of the conversation. But what if I say, I tell you the story about a guy who wants to rescue a princess. So that's not telling you you're no good. It's just telling you a story about a princess. That's it, But all of a sudden you start identifying with this guy. And this guy, he has his missions and get the princess out. It's very non-confrontational. I'm not fighting with you, I'm just waking you up, I'm not telling you. The story is a world in itself. The story doesn't tell you what to do. You can choose to take something from the story and say, therefore. I just thought something that just happened to me last night. I was reading this story. I didn't realize how negative the story was until I finished reading it. Basically about this story about this writer who was sort of going a little bit crazy, and he writes this really terrible book and really negative type of book, and then starts losing contact with the world. And that's basically, in short, a very long story. But after I was reading, it's like, wow, I spent so much time reading the story. Like, why did I do that? And what can you take out of the story? And I said, I don't know. I think one thing to take out of the story is that how there's always a possibility of getting lost inside and losing contact with the world. And also, as I felt good, I was reading so to speak a negative story, but also has this positive meaning for me, which is, wow, look at the way I work, and sometimes I can do that too, And so it's you decide. Bottom line, you decide what the story means. So it's sort of
It was like a wake-up call of risk management.
Risk management and need to be in touch with others. But someone else who could read that story and take a different message from it. So again, it's sort of like democratic in a certain way. When I teach you, so it's not democratic. I know and you don't know, and I'm going to tell you what to do. When I tell you the story, I'm influencing. I'm not telling you what to do. Bottom line is it's your choice. It's your choice. So that's one thing. That's one difference between a story and a teaching. Another difference, which is a very important difference, is that many times when we talk about intelligent things, intellectual things, there's a danger of losing the concreteness, losing the feeling of reality that we have. Sometimes you can. It happens all the time. You hear someone talking and you say, "Is this person talking about anything, or just using very, very general terms about things?" It's like the horoscopes in the newspaper. It's like you will have some sort of development and this and that, and like everything can fit in. It's like so. A lot of times we learn. I'm trying to get some inspiration, and it doesn't mean anything. It's just words. I think that also happens to people in davening also. Sometimes people have that experience that, like, I'm saying, it's just words. What does it mean to me? It's a constant struggle we have when we talk about smart things. But when you talk about stories, it's always talking about reality, sensual reality, the things we see with our senses. What are you seeing? What are you hearing? And it brings things back to feeling. Like there was a story with the Meir Simcha, Vince, the Ars Sameach. He was a very great scholar, one of the brilliant commentaries on the Gemara. And someone was waiting to speak to him outside of his office. And he's listening to the door, and he hears him learning Torah with a kid. So he doesn't want to disturb probably his grandson or something, So he's hearing, he's explaining to him, this like that. And it's going on for a very, very long time. He says, what's going on over there? How could it be the kid has so much patience? And so he said he was a very important issue, so he just opened the door and walked in. And then he sees Rameir Simcha sitting by himself. He says, where's the kid? So he said, I'm the kid. I needed to, which means that even someone who was so smart and able to understand such nuance, if you really want to understand, you have to explain it to yourself like a kid. And then it gets there. So I think this point really touches on this thing of waking up. Because a lot of times the reason why we fell asleep is because we lost in Hebrew it's called the mamashut. Mamashut is tangibility of things. That's a lot of times why we fall asleep. It's like blah blah blah. Yes, thank you. I got to be a good person. I got to it's all like it's all. It doesn't mean anything anymore. But once it gets translated into a story, then it means something. But there could be better stories and worse stories. That's also another important point. I mean, these are stories he told. I mean, I don't think every story is equal. Some stories are can move you, and some stories bring you down.
Yeah, it seems that there's an interesting question why the mind is able to better absorb thoughts by linking it to stories as opposed to listening to a lecture, so to speak.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on the person. Some people would understand me better if they were listening to a lecture.
Then hearing the story.
And sometimes because a story could be very abstract and for a person
Very
who has
vague,
constant, it just could. I think it depends. I don't think necessarily. I think they like stories and lectures and everything have a place.
I think a lot of times when you say things in lecture forms or in intelligent form, you have a lot more control. Every time I define something, I have control over that thing, right? I say this table is 7 feet wide. So now if I need to put a tablecloth, I know how big the table needs to be. I control it just by defining it. Yeah, exactly.
I'm always doubting, am I personalizing the story? And is this becoming egocentric that I'm not learning about, but and it's so much doubt comes in or being I'm totally not getting it.
Yeah, exactly. That's the upside of defining things. You sort of got it down. I understand what this is talking about.
Well,
in an abstract way.
The story
Yeah.
is about a princess.
Yeah, exactly. And then doesn't mean
really about something else, and then
that doesn't mean anything to them. Yeah, exactly right. It's like someone told me that someone who's
Snow White and Seven Dwarfs.
Exactly.
That's all you get out of it. Then you have.
Even in Snow and Seven Dwarfs, could be you subconsciously get some sort of story, and maybe you'll take some thought to say what it's about. But probably if it moves you, then it probably means something important. Well, I'm saying I know somebody who's very big thinker about education of young children. Really, he put a lot of energy into this. And he said he notices children when they're learning how to speak, as they're moving from nonverbal to verbal stage, and all of a sudden they understand the idea of a name of a word, besides for mother, father, which it's not really a word. It's just relating to their parents. We say light or something. So he said he actually looks at kids, his own kids, to that stage, and also they understand this is called light. And on one hand, this is it's progression. All of a sudden you understand the idea of light. If we break that down for a little bit, words about things, cup, just the word cup is an abstract idea. Why? Because it's not talking about any particular cup. It's talking about the idea of a cup. It takes a certain level of abstraction to get that idea in general, and babies get there at a certain point. What he was saying is that he thinks that kids also lose something when they get to that stage, because all of a sudden things start becoming defined, and this is a cup, and it's not this experience of just touching reality as it is, and stories sometimes bring us back to sort of let's just touch. Let's not talk about it. Let's just touch it first. What does it mean? Like, what does it mean to be a hero? What does it mean to save the princess? Let's just feel what it means, and before we talk about
That's
it.
the problem with words. That's the general problem.
The words that sometimes it can be distancing from
words in general. You speak in black. I only know black because I know white. I only know sit because I know up, right? Everything is opposites, so it's automatically not just touch. A touch means I just touch and that's it.
right.
Okay, but automatic, that's what he said, I'm assuming that you lose.
Yeah.
The child loses something because automatically just define something without just feeling.
Yeah. I'm giving another example which comes up. Sometimes someone tells me something. I meet a friend who tells me, I heard this and that. So a lot of times my instinctive reaction is, to say something smart about it. I think that it's not so good, or whatever it is, right? But it happens all the time. Like, so particularly smart people have this instinct of I have to analyze that in some sort of way. Like, well, I do like it, or I don't like it. It comes to these things because we're not used to just, oh, that's cool. We're not used to that type of, that relationship of just being being a kid. So this is obviously a story from Nachman, but I think that we can translate this into ourselves, or making our own stories, meaning to say, when we're talking to others or we're talking to ourselves, I think it's a good exercise to say, what does this mean in this story? And if I can't find that, then maybe I need to think about it a little deeper, because maybe it's not tangible enough to me. No, that's how I say idea. I'm telling a friend, I believe in this. Okay, so I think a good exercise is to say, you believe in that. Tell me a story. Tell me a story that explains this. What does this mean? If you can't do that, maybe it's too vague. Maybe it's just a slogan.
Yeah, I think everyone day is saying that if you want to see if he really is smart, then try to give as many examples for something. Like, try to say something, and then try to give as many examples for that to try to explain that. Let's say, I'm obviously not that smart, but that was fun.
You're smart. Anyway, so I think we'll basically stop over here. But I thought that's I'm sure there's a lot more that could be said about this story in particular, also about what it means, and also not everything has to be interpreted exactly. Sometimes you just hear the story, and feels a certain way, and then it could wake us up, or wake somebody else up. Any other?
Can I just repeat something that you said earlier in class?
Yes.
To fix the world, you need to help people learn how to talk to each other in a real way.
Yeah.
I've never heard that before, and I'm really wow.
Yeah. It's interesting. I wasn't saying verbatim from Nachman. Nachman says that idea in various variations several times.
So you're saying his telling stories is an attempt to make something real. It's the same
Yeah,
thing as giving examples.
Yeah.
Giving examples is telling stories. So it's
Yeah.
To help people
making it real, whatever it is that you're saying.
help people what? Can you repeat what you said? I wasn't hearing.
So to fix the world, we need to help people to learn how to talk to each other in a real way. A lot of times people are just kind of like, they're talking. It's not an example. It always kind of, some people like they say, instead of saying, we could be a loose acquaintance.
Yeah.
So instead of just saying, what I would like them to say is just, oh, hi, good to see you. They say, how are you? And they're already down the aisle.
Gone, yeah.
How are you? There is no chance
They-
to say anything or even have an eye contact with
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
So it's false.
Yeah.
But that's a common expression.
Yeah.
People-
It is,
You
but
don't
it's not
expect an
real.
answer.
It's not real.
What could we say?
It's talking.
So you use different words.
That's I
Yeah.
switched
Greeting.
it.
Yeah, but
It's a
it's-
common greeting, though. It's not-
Yeah, but a lot of times it's not just
It's
because.
common greeting that's false.
A lot of times
It's
it's
not talking.
I don't know exactly about this particular example.
I feel.
It's hurtful because
I don't.
I'm just
And
sensitive.
you get hurt when somebody says, hi, how you doing?
And doesn't give a
And
chance
doesn't
to.
and just walks right by.
Oh, I see, it's the what, it's not.
Yeah.
I see.
It's not
You're
real.
talking,
Yeah.
talking at me.
You're gone.
Just say good to see you. Or
Don't ask me how I'm doing if you don't want to hear the answer.
exactly. Just be real. Say
That's what people do, they say, hey, how you doing?
it is. I agree
Shallow.
with you. It is what people do.
Shallow.
It is what people do.
Because you're not really expecting an answer when you say it.
But that's the way it is, no, you don't.
Right, so maybe
I mean, the favorite expression I hear, I'm around French people, I do so that, you know, okay. What do you want to do? Tell them, no, it's not okay.
That's
No, nobody
that's
else
real. When my friends one day ask me how you doing, and I'm not in a good place,
You're
I
supposed
would
to
say I am not
sorry,
doing good.
I
am not
just
doing
not-
good. I am
No,
sorry. I'm
so-
not gonna smile and tell you I am wonderful when I'm not good. It's just
I-
not gonna
Nobody
happen.
wants to hear that.
No,
Well,
I
that
said-
means that's the
no, so don't
problem.
ask it. It bothered me, so I said,
That's
wait,
fine.
I'm gonna stop doing it. So I had to figure out if I don't like it, what am I gonna replace it with? Because I also am in the habit of saying, how are you?
What
So
if
I
you
had
don't
to
like?
decide to switch it, to say.
Or you could just say, "How are you?" and wait for an
It's
answer.
not, you
How about
don't
you
have to
say
say
good morning?
anything.
Good afternoon.
Good morning, good afternoon,
Right, period.
or just nod. I give a
That's it.
smile and I nod. If I don't want to know how you are and I'm not happy to see you, I can just nod and acknowledge your presence as a human being.
That
But at
would be,
least I'm being
I think
honest.
that would be odd. If somebody, if I go, hi, how you doing? They go.
No, that's
"What is
not-
This person, what's wrong with him?"
No, that's not in response. That's saying how I do. I don't say how are you anymore.
You say hi?
Yeah,
Well, hi is just a shortened, term for how
Well,
are
this is
you?
now semantics.
Yeah, that's true.
You guys view a common situation in a different way. So they okay.
Out of my
you're-
semantic way.
There you go.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's okay.
But one thing to say about that, a lot of times the reason why people have a difficulty speaking truly is there's something uncomfortable inside of them. It's like someone's walking around uncomfortable in general, you know, or not, or just like, and everything they say is not real. Because if I was real, I would say, "Wow, I feel so uncomfortable," you know.
No, we have this thing that we would say.
Yeah.
We'd be like, "Oh, this is awkward." And we'll just say,
Yeah.
"No, not a problem. This is awkward."
Yeah.
And
That's
that's
true
fine.
what you say.
There's
about
nothing wrong
that.
with it. It's awkward.
Yeah.
This is what it is. Speak what you feel, don't. And that's a big. I at least I have it. It's myself. I still have it. People ask me how you doing. Oh, wonderful, thank God. No, it's not wonderful. You make me say thank God. It's not wonderful. I have this problem. You want to hear it? Let's sit down and discuss it.
It's true what you say. After I retired, I started teaching English